Class 8, a very good morning and welcome to the live classes. So I'll be teaching you chemistry and biology, and today we will discuss the first chapter in biology of class 8, that is transport of food and minerals in plants. As you are all aware that I had sent the diagrams in the WhatsApp class 8 group. So I hope you have copied the diagrams, drawn the diagrams using a pencil neatly in your biology laboratory notebook. The diagram I had sent was of the xylem tissues, the phloem tissues, and the magnified view of the root hairs. So without wasting much time, I would like to continue with the first class 8 biology. And the first chapter is transport of food and minerals in plants. So the key concepts of this chapter would be the structure and the function of xylem and phloem. Next will be osmosis, then diffusion, active transport, transportation, and micro and macro nutrients. So today we will talk about the xylem and the phloem. Okay, the diagram that I had sent maybe two days back that you must have copied by now in your laboratory notebook. So let's continue without wasting time. So plants get water and nutrients. So plants nutrients and water are needed by the plants for the manufacture of food. We all are aware of that by the process, and the plants manufacture food by the process of photosynthesis. So for the photosynthesis to be carried out, plants need the nutrients and water. All the cells of the plants and need water and nutrients, and these need to be carried all over. So naturally the water and the nutrients, they need to be carried from the roots to the leaves for the manufacture of food, isn't it? Cells containing chlorophyll in the leaves, they manufacture food with the help of the nutrients and water. So the water and the nutrients has to be carried from the roots to the leaves. So how do all these activities take place? How will the water and the minerals from the roots to the leaves is carried out, and the manufactured food from the leaves has to be distributed to different parts of the plant? So how is it possible? It is possible by the transport system, with the help of the transport system of the plants. So higher plants, they have a well-developed transport system. But the primitive plants, such as mosses and the ferns, they do not have this so-called vascular system, or the system for the transport of food and minerals in the plants. So the primitive plants do not have the transport system. It is only in the higher plants that we find this well-developed transport system. In other words, we call it the vascular system. So the well-developed vascular system of plants is composed of the xylem and the phloem. So vascular system in the plants is concerned with the transport of materials, whether be it water and minerals or the manufactured food. So the vascular system, the transport system in the plants consists of the two types of tissues. One is the first is xylem tissues, and the next one is phloem tissues. Both the xylem and the phloem extend from the tip of the plant to the tip of the root. So the transport system is distributed all over the body of the plant, from the tip of the plant to the tip of the stem to the tip of the root in the plants, and they are the conducting tissues. So the conducting tissues or the vascular system in the plants, the transport system on the plants consists of the xylem and the phloem. So first, we talk about the xylem tissues. So let me, before we start with the xylem and the phloem, just want to tell you, it's a simple thing that you got to remember, the key points that you got to remember. Now you must be wondering what xylem is, isn't it? It is a transport system that transports, the xylem is the transport system or the tissue which conducts water and minerals from the root to the leaves. So xylem is concerned with the transportation of water and minerals from the root to the leaves, whereas phloem is concerned with the transportation of manufactured food. Obviously, food is manufactured in the leaves. So the phloem tissues are concerned with the transportation of manufactured food from the root, from the leaves to the different parts of the plant, because all the parts of the plant need the manufactured food. So the phloem conducts food from the leaves to different parts of the plant. You got to remember that, okay? So xylem transports water and minerals upwards from the roots to the leaves, and phloem transport manufactured food from the leaves to different parts of the plant. So first we deal with the xylem tissue. So xylem tissue is a very complex tissue. It consists of both living and dead cells. There are 4 types of cells that makes up the xylem tissues. The number 1 would be xylem vessels, number 2 would be tracheids, number 3 xylem fibers, and the last one it would be xylem parenchyma. So the first 2, that is xylem vessels and tracheids, are the important ones. They play a major role in the transport of materials, transport of minerals and water from the roots to the leaves. So of the 4, xylem vessels and tracheids are the main conducting tissues. So the xylem vessels are long and cylindrical. As you can see the diagram that you have drawn earlier, you can refer to the diagram that I had sent or that you have drawn. Xylem vessels are long cylindrical cells joined end to end and forms a long tube. It forms a long tube. Okay, so once more I want to repeat it. Xylem vessels are long and cylindrical cells. They have long and cylindrical cells. They are joined one end to another end and forms a long tube. They have lignified walls. The xylem tissues, the vessels have lignified wall, means the walls of the xylem vessels are made up of a special substance called lignin. Okay, that's why they are known as lignified walls. It is made up of lignin. What does lignin do? The substance do? The lignin makes these cells stiff and provides structural support. As we all know, the higher animals, they have skeletal system and makes our, like for us, for example, we can sit straight, we can stand straight, we can walk around straight. Why? Because of the skeletal system. But mind you, plants, they do not have the skeletal system. So the xylem vessels, they have lignified walls, so that it makes the lignified walls makes the cells stiff, and it provides mechanical structural support and mechanical support so that the plants can stand upright. Okay. Next is the tracheids. The next type, another type of cells, the important cell that makes up the xylem tissue, are called the tracheids. They are also tubular cells. They form tubes-like structure, but they have tapering ends. They are not like pipe, but they have tapering ends. Their cell walls are also thickened with lignin. So they also have lignin for mechanical support and to make the cells stiff and hard. Okay. Now we come to the functions of xylem tissues. The xylem vessels and tracheids, they transport, as I told you, water and minerals for the manufacture of food from the roots to the leaves. So So xylem vessels and tracheids vessels transports water and minerals upwards from the roots to different parts of the plant, especially in the leaves. The xylem vessels are thick walled cells and they provide mechanical support to the plant. How is it possible? Because of the lignified walls, and the lignin makes the cells tough and provides stiff to provide structural support. Xylem parenchyma, they also store water, minerals and carbohydrates. So that is all about the xylem tissues that you have to know. And now we come to the phloem, the next type of tissue in the vascular bundle that comprises the vascular bundle, the phloem, which conducts food from the leaves to different parts of the plant. Now, phloem is a food conducting tissue in plants. Food materials move through the phloem in different directions. This is unlike xylem, where the water flow in one direction only. So in xylem, the water flows only in one direction, but in phloem, food travels everywhere to all the parts of the body. So in the xylem, in the plants, the xylem conducts water only in one direction, from the root to the leaves. But in phloem, the food materials are distributed to all the different parts of the plant. That means it is not unidirectional. So phloem consists of 4 types of cells. They are sieve tube cells, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. Now we come to a little bit of detail. We'll discuss what would it be now. Sieve tubes are elongated tubular cells. They are like tubes. Tubular means they are like tubes. It forms tubes so that materials can pass through it. They form a small pipeline. Okay. So the sieve tubes are elongated tubular cells placed again end to end, like the xylem vessels. They are connected end to end. It forms a long pipeline. Similarly, the sieve tube cells are tubular and it's connected end to end so that it forms a small, tiny, thin pipeline. The end walls have minute pores and have sieve plates. They are called as sieve plates. At maturity, sieve tubes lack nuclei and have very few organelles. Now we come to the next, companion cells. And companion cells are located in the sides, at the sides of the sieve. If you can see that, if you can look at the diagram that we've drawn earlier, the companion cells are located on the sides of the sieve tubes. They help the sieve tubes in the conduction of food. They help in the conduction of food materials. They are smaller than the other cells and have prominent nuclei. They have a prominent nuclei, the companion cells. Now we come to the phloem parenchyma. They store parenchymatous cells. They always store food. So parenchyma cells also store food. Phloem fibers now, fibers, they are thick walled. Obviously, they provide mechanical support. So the phloem fibers provide mechanical support to the plant. As we all know, as I'd already said, that animals have skeletal systems so that they can stand erect, whereas upright properly. But plants, they do not have the skeletal system, so they depend on the fibrous cells so that they give mechanical support. So who does that? One of the cells that gives the mechanical support to the plant would be phloem fibers. So phloem fibers provide mechanical support to the plants. They also make up sclerenchyma cells. That is all about the phloem. Now we come to the last portion of the class. We come to is the functions of phloem. Phloem transport, as we know, food manufactured by the plants in the leaves, and from the leaves the food is will be distributed to different parts of the plant through the phloem. So phloem parenchyma helps in the storage of not only food, but not only water, but also food. So phloem parenchyma cells help in the storage of food. Phloem fibers provide mechanical support because they are fibers. They always provide mechanical support to the plants. So that is about the functions of the phloem tissues here. Now, the last portion of the class today, we will deal with the differences between xylem and phloem. The main difference is the xylem vessels or the xylem tissues, they conduct water from the roots to the leaves, whereas phloem tissues, they conduct food manufactured from the leaves to different parts of the plant. They are made up of dead cells. The xylems are usually made up of, most likely to be made up of dead cells, whereas phloem vessels are made up of living cells. And the last difference would be it forms a vascular bundle with phloem, and it is located towards the inner side of the vascular bundle. So we have a vascular bundle there, the bundle of tissues, conducting tissues, the vascular system. It forms a vascular bundle. It's found in the interior of the vascular bundle. In the center of the vascular bundle, xylem is formed, whereas in the periphery we have phloem tissues. So xylem forms the vascular bundles in phloem with phloem, and it is located towards the inner side of the vascular bundle, whereas phloem is found on the outer side of the vascular bundle. So with this, we come to the end of the live class biology today. I hope you have understood. If you have any problems, you can always contact me. Thank you very much.